Hello, guys. I'm Josh from the Not for Sale podcast, and I'm here to talk about Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, mostly because it's free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast to all the major podcasting places like Spotify and Apple Music, podcasting, and you can make money off of your podcasts like not like they don't set it up for a certain amount of listeners to be able to make money off of it. Everything you need to make the podcast, they already help you with. You could edit your podcast with all sorts of tools, and pretty much it just makes it the best all in one podcasting platform free to use. But if you want to try this out, just download the free Anchor app on either iOS or on Android, or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you and have a good day.
Welcome, everybody. It's that time again for the Wrestling with the Willeys podcast. Today we're talking about a SummerSlam 2020 edition. And I'm here with Jeremy because everybody else was tired or too busy or whatever doing other things. So, all right. So I don't think we're going to talk about the kickoff show again, mostly because we didn't watch it because we usually don't. But it
was
like,
Apollo Crews and MVP, right?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that probably MVP won or something. I think that MVP won it legit from Apollo Crews, like on Raw or something like that. So it would only make sense if MVP won again. But so first match was Bayley versus Asuka, and
Apollo Crews won, dude.
Oh, Apollo Crews really won?
Yep.
What the fuck? Well, good thing you checked.
Yep, I know.
Damn, what the fuck, man? But damn, what the fuck? It's like they do that and then they drop it off of the Hurt Business, man. Way to go. No.
Well, they banned Benjamin and Lashley from ringside.
Oh,
so it was just MVP by himself.
So that means probably on Raw or something like that they'll do it again.
Well, shit, with Payback being only a week from now. I mean,
yeah, I know they'll do another one where he'll win it back.
It's like, holy shit. I mean, there's only 3 days between. Well, like the SmackDown people, it'll be before, and they'll be setting up for Payback. So it's
I know it seems
SmackDown will be kind of weird.
Seems super weird knowing that they're only doing it within a week. I don't think they've ever done that. At least they give it like 2 weeks, but still, that was like
I don't know if
enough. It's like doing a bunch of shit. So I don't think Payback's gonna have a whole lot of fucking bullshit on it anyway. But okay, so pretty much the pay-per-view started with Bayley versus Asuka, and I definitely. That's one thing for sure about this whole pay-per-view is that all the matches were pretty good. Like there was not a bad match on the card at all. I mean, I honestly thought some other matches were like better than others, but this one definitely was good just because Asuka's always good. And I know that you don't care for Bayley, but it looks like at least she could keep up with Asuka during this match, and it made sense how she beat Asuka too.
This was one of
Bayley's
better matches, I would say. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think she did two other good matches with her, like when they were in NXT too. So,
but you're right. I'm a big critic of Bayley's, and I would say I was fairly entertained with this match.
Yeah. So, like, what's it called? I definitely think that this was like, I don't know, like, I couldn't say that it could be better, but probably at least like 3 stars for me, just because it was. I'm like, you pretty much had a feeling that Bayley was going to retain, and for some way, Sasha was going to retain or lose the belt, and that, or at least everybody was hoping that there would be like comeuppance between them for Sasha, like eventually like turning on fucking Bailey. So at least they kind of did that. I think most of the predictions that I've watched from people were there saying that Bailey was no matter what going to retain. It makes sense. I'm trying to show the whole she needs Sasha more than Sasha needs Bailey type of thing. So what do you think?
Oh, the stars, I would say 3. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
That's going to be a recurring theme for me, honestly, tonight. I think they were, but we'll talk about it more. But
Yeah, I definitely think that most of the matches were like there's not a whole lot of standout matches for me on this card anyway. Like I think the main one that I was like intrigued was what they were gonna do was the Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman match anyway. So I knew that was the main one that I was like, please, please be good. But and then I think it was it the Raw Tag Team Championship match?
yeah, it was
After
Street
that,
Profits against Andrade and Angel Garza was the
yeah.
next match. Yeah,
I couldn't remember if it was that one or was the Mandy or the Dominic one because I think that was the cage match, right?
there was a cut before that match where Dominic was talking to Ray about not interfering.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
So that's probably what you're remembering.
But yeah, I definitely like this match. I mean, I definitely think that they need to do more with Andrade, especially them trying to show like that they're having problems the whole time. Like they haven't really tried to like find out if they're going to break up the tag team or whatever. You know, I definitely think that it would have worked better if they had Randy Orton be like the team leader, like how they did it on Raw one day, where he was involved in the match, and he's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
And like he focused them up to get the win. I mean, that would have been totally. It would have totally made sense. But I mean, whatever. I mean, like even then, like I was talking about when we were watching it, how it would be cool if like I think his name is Santo Escobar, who used to be Phantasmo or something Del Fantasma or whatever that was on the indie scene. I don't remember if he was from CMML or AAA or one of the other ones. But what's it called? If they brought up their little trio and combined them with them, I think their stable would be awesome. But of course, that would be too many people on Raw or SmackDown right now. I think they're SmackDown people, right?
No, they're Raw people.
Oh shit! So yeah, that would make sense why they don't, because Seth and all them like getting overcrowded as it is.
Well, I think we'll get to that when we talk about Seth. But yeah, so this was another good match, I thought.
Yeah,
I'm one at the beginning. Street Profits were kind of annoying because they were more of a comedy type act than anything else. But as they've wrestled more and more, I've tend to like them a lot more than
yeah.
I
definitely
to.
think Montez Ford is like the main reason why the Street Profits got over too. It's just like how much charisma that he ends up having, and like it just like I don't know, just is infectious for everybody. I think, and I think that's initially why they got over in the first place. Well, because I didn't care for their comedy skits at first either, and then it seems like I'm surprised that they're still champions right now. Like I can't believe. Like I would have thought that they would have probably I don't know. They kind of like don't really do much for their tag division. Seems like because the last people that had them was the Viking Raiders, I think, before they had them. Or no, I don't remember who they lost them to. I think the Viking
It was
Raiders.
the Viking Raiders, I think.
But yeah, that's what I'm just like, dude, they don't do enough for them. So that's why I'm surprised knowing that Street Profits still have the belts. I mean, it's still good though. I mean, I definitely love how Montez Ford could flip himself in the air with his splashes. Like he could pretty much go everywhere. Like he can flip himself around if he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's tight. So like, I'm just intrigued with what they do with Andrade and Angel Garza. If they're gonna break them up, or if they're gonna feud with each other, or whatever. I know that they have to do something because obviously Zelina Vega isn't doing good enough job.
Mm-hmm.
But so was it Sonya Deville next versus Mandy Rose, or was it Dominic versus Seth Rollins?
It was Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Okay, yeah, definitely the promos off of this stuff leading up to it. Definitely best feud out of all of them. I should just say like my whole pretty much all the ratings for these matches I think are 3 stars for me anyway. I don't think all of them were like super great. So
Oh yeah, there wasn't one that was like over the top incredible match.
yeah, like there's like I don't know. Most of them were like they were good, but they weren't like holy crap, what were they trying? Like it wasn't trying to do anything like super crazy, which is surprising for a SummerSlam. You would think that some of the people would be going all out or whatever, but I definitely like this match though because they didn't give a lot to like Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville for the longest time. They were together for I don't know, like 3 or 4 years or something on the main roster, and then they didn't really do much. Oh, look at that. On the results that I have on here, it says that it's hair versus hair match.
Well, it was originally, and then they changed it on SmackDown to be the loser leaves WWE.
Mm.
I
Well,
think
that
because
probably makes
they,
sense.
yeah, I think because that wouldn't have went over well.
Well, I mean, like
Somebody
one of
losing
them
their
being
hair,
bald.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so they were going to change it, and I think obviously, um, with Sonya Deville's issue a week or two ago, we kind of knew the result of what was
Yeah.
going to happen because
Yeah.
she's probably needing time off to deal with stuff.
Yeah. And she was like practically squashed in this match. I mean, Sonya Deville did put some stuff in, but it felt like a complete like squash match from
Which
Mandy
was
Rose.
kind of surprising to me because I mean I
I would
knew
have
they
thought the
had to,
opposite.
but well, except for the fact that we knew, like I was saying just a minute ago, was that we knew Sonya Deville would be the one taking time off, and we know when she comes back, she won't be Sonya Deville anymore, and
Yeah.
that's how they'll get around the whole loser leaves WWE thing. Even though she comes back, she'll come back as somebody else. But
Well, I mean, it's
but
not
I
like they
was
haven't done it
surprised.
before.
I was surprised that they well, shoot, AJ Styles came back 2 weeks after he was supposedly buried alive. But
Yeah.
but yeah, so I was surprised at how the match went, though. I would have expected it to be back and forth and then
Yeah,
Sonya
it was pretty
lose.
much Mandy Rose do
But yeah,
like because Sonya Deville did a little bit of stuff, but then like oh god, it's like Mandy Rose come on, especially at the end. She kneed her in the face like 4 or 5 times, then did or when she did it like 2 times, then she did her finisher on her. Then on top of that, then she kneed her in the face again. Like right in with like 5 minutes, so she was making it definite that she wasn't getting up.
yeah,
Which I'm totally fine for that anyway. Like, I mean, it seems like Mandy Rose, the way that way her moveset is, seems like she would be like able to wreck people anyway. They just haven't given her the opportunity to do so.
mm-hmm.
So I definitely liked the match anyway, though. But I think probably my least favorite, but I was surprised about it, was the Dominic Mysterio versus Seth Rollins one though. Because
I would agree, and that's where I was going to say what we would get to later is I'm not a big fan of Seth Rollins at this point. I think they're pushing him too much. I know he's a good wrestler, but I don't think he deserves to be where he is.
Yeah.
And I might be in the minority for that, but like today, I really think, and we'll get into the results, but I don't feel he should have won.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he should have won. I think that's the main reason why I think this is my least favorite one, was because I was like, taking into account that it was his first match, like practically ever. I mean, like, I don't think he was out on the indies doing any wrestling matches. So I think this is his first like legit like match that he actually wrestled in. And he didn't do that bad. I mean, like, you could tell that he's a bit green, or like the way that they say it. Like, you could tell that he isn't that great at it, but like you could tell he's got like potential. So that's why I was like surprised. Especially, he did a decent frog splash, like most of the moves, and he did the best spot of the night, which is surprising. With the, like, to me, the what's it called? The
leg sweep
Russian
with
leg
the kendo
sweep.
stick. Yeah,
With the kendo sweep through the table. I definitely thought, because I don't think I've ever seen that spot ever. So I liked how they ended up doing that that move in the match, and it seemed like I saw a few moves in this match, or like in the whole pay-per-view, that I didn't see before. Like a few it's so weird, like seeing some people pull out different moves that I wasn't expecting. Like, because most times they usually do the same moves all the damn time, but that was definitely like the one that stood out. And I thought that would have been the finish, and then he did the frog splash after that, and then Seth kicked out again. Like six, he kicked out after that. I was like, dude, I would have thought that would have been the finish. So, like, it was a bit overbooked, and I definitely like the whole, like, you did this, and then he stomped him at the end. I was like, okay, really? Did you need to do that?
I know, right?
If you were gonna do that, you should have might as well brought the wife in and did that in front of him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, handcuffed them both and did that, and then unhandcuffed Dominic and pinned him or something. If you're gonna do that, like, because I thought that was kind of stupid. But I mean, the eye for an eye match where he threw up, like, fucking ruined it for me too. And I think ever since then, where they're like, oh yeah, he's so sadistic and this and that, I'm like, sorry, that goes against it when he throws up. That means it physically disturbed him so much that he had to throw up, even though that he did it like before then. But so you're trying to say that he's sadistic. If he was sadistic, it wouldn't phase him at all. He would be laughing or some shit, like the Fiend, right? That's like something that the Fiend would probably do. It's like trying to like gouge eyes out and shit. But like, I think that's the main problem that I have with Seth Rollins right now, is like them booking him into stupid situations. Like, what did this have to do? Like, this didn't help him at all. Like, honestly, this didn't do jack shit for him right now. And like, if anything, it hurt Dominic, because like, if they're gonna have him in any matches after this, do you think so? Probably not.
Oh, did you realize that what Seth was wearing?
Oh yeah, he was mocking and like kind of mocking
Rey Mysterio.
gear.
Yeah, Halloween Havoc back in 1997.
See, that's what I thought it was the purple outfit that he was wearing.
Yep.
Because that's what it looked like to me anyway. Like, on TakeOver 30 or whatever, I couldn't tell what, because Johnny Gargano came out with something, but I couldn't tell what it is. You know, on all the takeovers, he does like a certain gear set for like whatever Marvel or whatever. So I couldn't place that one. I'll probably have to look that up later, but That's the one thing that I do like about Seth Rollins is that he does change his gear every once in a while to be like doing whatever. Like somebody, and then like I saw a picture where it showed like all the different ring
So
gears
was
that he
that
did.
Ray's wife or is that Ray's mom?
I think that's what it was saying. Was it was Dominic's? I think it was his wife or something. I couldn't tell what they said at
It
first.
said Angie Mysterio, but is that
Yeah, I thought that was he was saying that it was his wife,
okay?
and then her mom, or like his mom, Dominic's mom, or whatever. But I could be wrong. I mean, because she looked kind of older to be like with Rey
That's what
Mysterio.
it
So,
seemed like. That's what I was wondering. So that's
but I mean, some people are into like older
nope.
ladies.
His
So,
wife, it's his wife. His wife's name's Angie Gutierrez.
oh, okay. So yeah. So I guess Rey Mysterio
Yeah,
likes older women. I guess I don't know, or at least she
or
looks like
she
an
just
older
yeah. I
woman.
was just gonna say he was born in '74. They got married in '96.
Dang.
Let's see.
But so that's kind of cool. Anyway, like that's why I was saying. Like
And
I
she
don't
was
know
born in the
why.
'70s. It doesn't say when she was born.
I don't know why WWE does this shit too. It's like doing the whole cutaway move, like Braun Strowman, like choke slamming Bray Wyatt on the concrete, where
Hmm.
they physically don't show it, and it's mostly because it's safety for the wrestlers. But it's like if you're gonna show it, you gotta like at least do something. You don't just like pan away and then you show him on the concrete because you know that we all think that it's fake. You know,
Hmm.
we're all like, and we have it in our head. Oh yeah, that's why they did that shit. So it does nothing towards this feud. But then they're like, oh, but see, Braun Strowman is so horrible. But they do this shit all the time. That's the main thing that kills me every time. It's like you take me out of it, trying to, like the immersiveness when it comes to this stuff, and then they do this stuff all the time, and it like breaks it for me. I'm trying to be like in the zone where I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna believe this as a wrestling match, and then it's like they do this every time where it's like it breaks it. Like if you're watching a bad movie where you're watching certain scenes play out and you're like, no, that's really dumb, no, hell no, and then you just hate that movie from then on.
Hmm.
WWE does that shit all the time, like all the time. But so that's it just kills me. But I guess we'll start talking about, I guess, Sasha versus Asuka now.
Yeah,
And
this was my favorite match of the night, actually.
yeah, I think so too. I mean, other than the Braun Strowman versus Fiend one, really, I like the Drew versus Randy Orton one, but it was just really weird. But I definitely think that Sasha is so underrated. Like,
Oh, she is.
as a
Yeah,
wrestler, man.
I've said that
Like,
before. I think, and this thing where anyways, she gets a title and she doesn't keep it for very long.
yeah, and they said it on commentary. You know how most of the time, whenever they say shit on commentary, usually that leads to like doing the opposite, right? Where they're like, "Oh well, if she hasn't fully defended it at a pay per view, then maybe this is her time where she does." And then it didn't happen. And I like this match a lot. I definitely think it was better than the Bailey one. But I definitely think that Sasha is a better wrestler than Bailey is. No, I still enjoy Bailey's wrestling and stuff like that, but I still think that Sasha Banks is probably the best one out of the four horsemen of women. And I think the main reason why a lot of people are putting Charlotte as number one is because it's Charlotte and it's Ric Flair's daughter, right? I think they like in a lot of problems. It's like the Seth Rollins thing, right? I think the main issues when it comes to this stuff is that they ain't giving some of these guys some time off, right? They're telling all these stories in like a 6-month period, and you try to figure out why Charlotte and Seth are like super oversaturated or overbooked in their matches, and they try to figure out why people used to care for them, now they don't. Like you see, like Roman came out, he would have probably gotten a pop if he came out and wrecked house, right? He would have probably gotten a massive pop when he did it, but it was mostly because they haven't seen him in forever. But if he was doing that shit for like 6 months where he was beating people like senselessly and stuff like that, and they were constantly putting him in title matches, they would fucking turn on him too. And they do this all the time. They oversaturate and they overbook these people, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, their wrestling's great, so we'll just have these three as the main ones in all storylines." And they try to figure out why, because they got like 200 fucking people on their rosters, right? They have a million different people. Like you could just take a break off of like Seth Rollins for like a month, right?
Yeah.
Have him not show up for like a month, and then add another pay-per-view. He comes out and does like whatever, like a storyline or whatever. You can have him like, and that at least builds up somebody else to take the place, and not everybody being like, at least you give some time to other guys. It's like Keith Lee. Keith Lee, they didn't surprise anybody, or like have them just show up and wreck somebody or something. You know, they just sit there and they're like, "Hey, guess who's showing up on Monday?" Even though that everybody figured that it was going to happen to him, then he lost the takeover.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. It's like no better. It's like no surprise, no nothing. And then they're like, "You'll never see this coming." And then Roman shows up, and then you're like, "Oh shit, I saw it coming." I'm not fucking surprised at all. But anyway, talking about Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton, I'm going off on tangents like super bad on this episode. But I mean, it is just me and you, so I mean, we're able to talk a little bit more.
Yep, a little bit differently
anyway.
because, you know, anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely at least with the Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton match, good God. At least Randy, I love Randy Orton as a heel and stuff like that, but I still am at a stance where it's like, does he really need the title to do anything?
He doesn't, but this match proved it, though. I mean, it basically, you know, is showing that he doesn't need that, but he can be in the title picture at times. You know, unlike certain people that I think, you know, don't really kind of deserve to be there, I could say Randy Orton has done enough to warrant, especially with him beating the hell out of all these legends, right? And then he goes after Drew. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Some of these where they just decide to, you know, and we'll get to it, you know, a little bit later, but when they haven't been anywhere and then all of a sudden they're in the title picture, it's like, wait, what the hell? How did that happen? Like they just skip from going from the bottom to the top somehow and don't have to work their way up.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, at least Randy Orton has fought Edge twice, and he, you know, took out Christian. He he went after Ric Flair, you know, and he punted Shawn Michaels.
I definitely love Randy Orton's gimmick right now, or like his ideals and shit that he's going for right now, where he just sits there and he's like, especially when we were talking about the WrestleMania match, where it was like he didn't want him to wrestle anymore, so he was going after him, right? And then it was like now he's just like, oh yeah, I'm wiping these people off, like I'm just putting these guys on the shelf because they don't need to be there because I don't want them to be there. So I like that whole gimmick. It's not like him being like an asshole.
Well, it goes along with his legend killer thing. Yeah. He's got reasons for it, right? So it's like
But that's why I honestly think that somebody needs to do the same thing to him
Oh yeah.
eventually.
Well, I think if he's smart, that's how he'll end it for himself.
Yeah, like because it would be the only logical step, right? Like even now, they could still sow the seeds for that, but I don't know who would be in the place for that. But it would make sense if somebody just was. If you're trying to chop somebody's head off, like or try to do like a paradigm shift type of thing, like I could still totally see like carrying Cross do that shit, right? Like when they're ready to put him up on the main roster, he just
Yeah,
comes
when
out
he's
and
not
says
hurt.
TikTok
Yeah.
and then puts the candle thing or like the what's it called? The timepiece down. And he's like TikTok, it's blah blah blah, and then he just wrecks him the same way. Like he even puts him out with the punt. Like if he's trying to go on vacation, like Randy Orton's just taking some time off, he comes out and punts him.
Mm-hmm.
See, it would make total sense, and it would get Karrion Kross like super over, right? Or at least I would think so, because they've been kind of booking him kind of strong lately, anyway. Because he's only been in there for like maybe 2 or 3 months, and he's
Oh
already
yeah,
won that.
he won the NXT belt
Yeah,
from Keith Lee, but yet he got hurt in the process.
yeah.
So,
But I mean, separated shoulder ain't so bad. That's like only
oh, I
like
know,
a
but it
month.
just sucks,
Yeah. I only know this because I separated my shoulder one time anyway. So, but what's it called? That's why I can't like. I would much rather see Randy Orton in this spot than fucking Brock Lesnar. At least Randy Orton's there all
Oh
the
yeah.
time. At least he's there all the time, right? Like he's been in like storylines the whole time. Like, I mean, to a degree, I guess, because it just depends on what they have for him. But it's like you can't get somebody else that's newer in there. It's like Keith Lee. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if they bring Keith Lee up. They have him do a few squash matches for like a couple of months, and then they run out of things to do. And then he stops showing up, and then they don't have anything, and then 6 months later, then he's just nowhere. It's like even they're doing that with Ricochet, and Ricochet's one of the best fucking guys that they have.
He's
And
not good on the mic though. I think that's
yeah,
one of
he's
his
not that
biggest
great on
issues.
the mic, but he doesn't have to be. All you need to do is just give him a mouthpiece. You could have given him MVP. What the fuck?
Oh no, I don't disagree. I'm just saying I think that might be what's holding him back.
Yeah.
They added Cedric. And Cedric is kind of the same way. They're both really good, I think, wrestlers and they're high flyers, but when they talk, they
Yeah, see, like I don't remember him talking when he was in Ring of Honor either. I think he was mostly just wrestling. Like I don't even remember him like really talking about anything. I think unless it was like feuding with certain people, but I don't ever think that he ever got on the mic for whatever reason. Same with Ricochet. I don't remember anything with him talking shit either. But I mean, still, like to a degree, yeah. But like, you got to think about fucking Chris Benoit was shit on the mic, and he was able to put on bangers every night, and then he won the belt at one point. So I don't think it's so much that. I think just people ain't behind them. Like they don't think that they're gonna go nowhere, and I'm like, fuck me. That's the main thing that kills me. I love all these guys. Most of the wrestlers on the card and shit I love, but then they just don't give them like if they were out at Ring of Honor or whatever, they would be putting on great matches like every fucking day. It's like seeing FTR right now. They're doing like fucking shit that they wanted to do in WWE, I'm sure. Like they're doing matches like they were doing in NXT.
oh
And
sometimes, they're the thing is you gotta think about who they're around, right? Because
yeah.
that's what I keep saying, you WWE is so large that there's just so much room that you can have for these guys, right? So it comes down to who they like, just like in any job, right? Your bosses like you or they don't. And if they don't like you, you're not going to get as much time.
Yep.
and you gotta find something that they like to get more time. And
yeah, which is crazy anyway. Like,
but it's like that.
to...
I guess what I'm saying is, it's like that anywhere though. Like
yeah,
you at your job, right? And I'm not saying you're bad or good or whatever, but they'll give you certain things to do, because of how they like your work. If
yeah,
they don't like your work, you're not going to get the opportunity. So we may think as outsiders that Joe Blow should get more time, or the revival should have been at the top of the tag team division. But
yeah.
in WWE, somebody else may have outworked them in somebody's opinion, so they didn't get the spots that the revival maybe thought
Or
they
like
should have
they
got.
pissed off the wrong people or
Yeah,
something.
that too. I mean, so we don't
Because
know.
definitely, you could tell off of like what's it called, Enzo Amore.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was an example of, if he didn't do what he did, he probably would have still been in WWE. But that dude is kind of a psycho. I mean, so
Well, I don't think he's so much of a psycho. I think the problem with Enzo Amore is that he talks too much shit and he doesn't have a certain respect for the people,
but
right?
that's what I mean.
It's what,
When you come off like that, you kind of come off as being kind of a psycho. You know what I mean? Because it's like you need to know when to keep your mouth shut,
yeah, true
and
that, yeah,
so
yeah,
obviously he did not.
yeah. He's
No.
definitely somebody that I could figure that definitely just didn't want to keep his mouth shut. Yeah. But what's it called? I guess we'll talk about the second best match, I guess, and last, where it's Bray Wyatt versus the Fiend versus Braun Strowman. Definitely couldn't tell if they were trying to push Braun Strowman as a heel now, because I thought when he came out for his entrance that it sounded like they were booing him. Like, I couldn't tell either that or they were trying to act like they were doing
Well,
his Braun
it's
thing.
that fake cheers. So it
Yeah.
could be WWE kind of pushing that, right? So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was telling you guys on the pay per view, I don't know if WWE, like, through the Thunderdome thing or whatever, if you have the ability to like cheer or boo, like press a
Mm-hmm.
button and boo. If you do, then I guess the fans were booing him. So if not, then it's probably WWE pushing that narrative.
Yeah.
And, so
Yeah, I can see it anyway, like the way that they were showing it. But also at the same time, like I definitely think that this match ended the way that it should have, but then like the whole Roman reveal at the end was just dumb to me. Like, I get what they were trying to do, but also at the same time, why the fuck he hasn't showed up since before WrestleMania, right? And the COVID stuff's still happening. And then he's talking about taking care of his family, and now he's laying back, and then now he's like, "Oh, I'm going for the title now." It's like, really? But then also at the same time, you're showing that the Fiend could take a massive amount of punishment, but then he can't take a spear or a Superman punch from Roman Reigns. Really? Come on, man. Just kind of dumb. Just real dumb. But I mean, that's how they book their pay per views, it seems like. Oh, you'll never see it coming. Well, I saw it coming. Okay. Because I was just talking about at the beginning of the beginning of the pay per view, where I was talking about there's rumors that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar was coming back. I was like, great. I'm like, it's good for Roman because I actually like Roman. I definitely think that he's cool, but I definitely think that he's always overbooked. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the Fiend won this damn championship and then next week at Payback, he loses it directly from Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'll have, like, a triple threat match between all three of them, and then he'll lose it. And then he'll bury fucking Bray Wyatt even further. But whatever. I mean, I could totally be wrong, and it could be like a rematch to Braun Strowman, and then whatever. But that's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be a triple threat match, and then I wouldn't doubt it. And like that's the problem too. Is like even with like the same matches with Brock and Roman, both kind of feel the same to me. Like I'm just like fuck. I don't want them to win. And like while I'm watching the match, I'm like, okay, this is good, but please don't have them win. Like I've constantly had that with Roman, like this whole time. I like him, and then it's just like, don't win. I don't want to see you win. I would much rather see Daniel Bryan or somebody else win rather than you. That's one thing. What about Daniel Bryan? Has he been off TV for a little bit or something?
Yeah, I haven't seen him. I think he mentioned something about. I think I saw him on SmackDown where he was talking about AJ Styles, but he hasn't been wrestling.
Well, I know that what's he called? Jeff Hardy beat him now.
He beat AJ Styles for the Intercontinental belt. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird, but
yeah,
the way it went down. But
well, I mean, the way that they've been doing any of their matches is just kind of weird now. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like, I swear, it seems like Vince is just going crazier and crazier all the time now. Because like it just blends into one. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this whole retribution thing they just kind of end at one point. Because I would have thought that they would have had retribution come out and wreck the whole thing, right? That's what instead of Roman Reigns, or like had like them come back out again, and then like the reveal was him take off the hoodie and it was him. Seeing like him being the leader of Retribution, that would have been like, okay, that would have made sense. That would have been cool.
Now? Roman?
Fucking Roman, yeah.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Like what? Like you would have not seen that shit coming, right? Like
you wouldn't have, yeah.
They were showing all the people, and they're trying to figure out what's going on.
I think if they were to bring CM Punk back, that would be a perfect one.
Well, that would have been a good one too, but also at the same time, like. I'm giving up on the whole CM Punk thing, man. So many people keep on constantly talking about rumors for when CM Punk comes back. And I'm just like, dude, by the time that if he ever does come back to wrestling, it's just going to be like a cried wolf thing, right? Where I'm just going to sit there and be like, well, fuck, I've heard it so many times. So by the time that it does happen, if it happens, I'm just gonna be like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. And I don't even really fucking and like freak out or nothing. It'll just be like, oh, okay. But yeah, CM Punk would be cool for that too. But I mean, like, I was just thinking about main roster people if you're bringing him back, because like, what a surprise! Like, then you would definitely not know what the fuck they're doing, other than. It's like, and they could have been like, could have explained it like, oh yeah, like when I was trying to take care of my family and this and that, and you just got it, and you took out my name. You didn't mention me on TV. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. So you know what? I felt like I'm gonna take it from you now, and then kind of tried to do something like that where he was just gonna take it out on everyone. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think that would have probably been a way better story than him just coming out and him being like, hey, this is my yard. I give you the title belts if I feel like giving you the title belts. It was just like, really? Come on, man. But I guess on that note, that I was killing it off on there, I guess I might as well end this one a little bit earlier than usual, but still.
Not much longer. We've been talking for almost 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. True that.
I didn't think it would be that long, honestly, with just the two of us.
Yeah, well, I have been ranting a little bit too, so like what a surprise that is.
Kind of, but not, not too much. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll
if
be
you got,
doing another one in a week anyway. So
yeah, I guess we're gonna have to do that one, and that'll probably be us being like, "Oh shit, this is god awful." God.
yeah, I can imagine being a week out from this one. The next
Yeah, because
week it's not going to be.
See now, like the only thing that I could think of is how they would do Payback is like they would feature
To me, it would be
things that
rematches from this
wouldn't.
one.
Well, that's what I would think that that's what they would do, but like I would think that they would feature other guys that were not on this pay per view. Like they would do the matches that they were kind of building up to, and that way, like some of the other people were featured.
But you know
But
damn well WWE will not do that. It'll almost be
I
the
know
exact
it's
same
always going to
card.
be the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be the exact same card, and it'll be payback for the people that lost. So, and then they'll drive up to, because I doubt this Roman thing's going to pay off right away. I doubt they're going to have a match between him and Bray Wyatt in a week. I mean, that would,
Yeah.
and then, because I tell you what, I wouldn't like it. Like, let's say Bray Wyatt won this week, and then a week later he loses to Roman, then Roman's the damn title holder a week after he returns.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
I wouldn't
really?
be surprised if what they were doing right there, when he came out and a Superman punched or speared Bray Wyatt, and then he like speared Braun Strowman.
A
It seemed
perfect
like they
one
were
would be
trying to
for,
set up triple threat for Payback.
but that's
But I mean,
crap.
you're telling me. But I mean, they set up stupid crap all the
I
damn
said if
time.
there's any payback, it should be between. Well, no, I mean even in that respect, if it's Bray Wyatt against Roman, it shouldn't be for the title.
Yeah,
It should just be a match.
but
I wish
that's the
sometimes they would
problem.
just do that because and they've started to do that somewhat sometimes where Bray Wyatt has faced Braun Strowman, like the swamp match, right? It
Yeah.
wasn't for the title. And I think they should do that more often where they just face each other. And then, like, let's say Roman beats Bray Wyatt, then the next time it could be for the title.
Yeah.
Not this, you're defending the title every 5 minutes type of thing. And so, but it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens on Raw tomorrow night. See if it sets anything up for
definitely for Retribution.
next week.
I'm wondering about what they're going to be doing with Retribution in the first place. I don't know what exactly they.
Well, not only that, I'll be interested to see if we hear anything about Sasha and Bailey tomorrow night because they are the tag team champs, so they can travel between brands.
Yeah, I definitely hope that this is what it is. Like, I don't know what tag team that they could face, though. That's the thing, is that it's Bailey and Sasha,
what do you call it?
the Iconics. They haven't really done anything with. I'm trying to think Nikki and Alexa, but then Alexa's like doing whatever. So it's like they only have a certain amount of people that they could probably drop the belts to.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm like knowing that Asuka's now not in the Kabuki Warriors now. So it's like, okay, I'm trying to figure out like what type of, unless Asuka makes a team with somebody else like Naomi or something, and then they get the fucking tag belts too, because of Bailey losing it. That sets up Bailey and Sasha to go against each other for the women's belt.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely what they should do. Doesn't mean that that's what they're gonna do, but like that's what they should do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I might as well wrap this shit up. If you guys like any of our content or whatever, you could go to the Heart of Geek. Pretty much all our socials are the Heart of Geek, except for the Twitch channel is just Heart of Geek. If you like any of this stuff, you could go to our Facebook page, comment on it, and stuff like that, and tell us. Like, you could give us recommendations for like any pay-per-views for us to watch or whatever. And I guess we will talk to you guys in the next video, which will be the payback. I guess the god awful pay-per-view that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, the next podcast. Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah. So, for that, I guess we will talk to you in the next episode. Bye, people.
See you later.